Hi everybody, my name is Isabel and I sew on YouTube and on social. I have a small brand of sewing patterns which is called Isa in Stitches, and in this video my aim is to answer my most frequently asked questions that I get in customer service, and I think it's going to be useful as well to kind of answer all the questions that you didn't have, because sometimes you don't really know what you don't know, if you know what I mean. So this video is going to be useful if you're buying my products, but I think it's also going to be useful if you got sewing patterns, digital ones, from other brands and you're a bit lost. Alright, so I'm going to be addressing the following questions in this video. First of all, how to download a pattern that you have bought on Etsy. Second, what types of file do I provide you with? Third, how to open the file. I know it sounds like really basic, but there is a software that is better than all the other ones. 4, how to print. 5, how to assemble the pattern. And 6, how to pick the right size before cutting your pattern pieces off the paper. So basically I'm going to be covering all the steps from purchase right before the moment you'll be cutting your fabric. Alright, let's get into it. How to download the pattern that you've bought off Etsy. So let's do it this way. I'm going to be buying one of my products. I am connected with another account of mine, and I went onto my shop on Etsy and I'm going to purchase this pattern here. Hold tight, we're submitting your order. Thank you for your order, Isabel. Awesome. So now you get this page, and then here I have a button, it's written View Downloads. Let's click on it and you can download all the files. As you can see, there are 3 files. Now let's go to my mailbox and see what is the email that they sent. And here you have a button, View Your Files on Etsy. I'm going to click on it. Okay, this page opened with a sort of little snippet here where you can click View Downloads, and basically the same page opens as the previous one. I'm going to download my files. I just click, download starts. I download all 3 of them. Now let's say that you've missed the email, and maybe right after purchase when you were on this page you didn't pay attention and you went away and you don't know how to go back to this page. It can also be that you downloaded the product once a long time ago and now you want to work on the project again. You're going to go on your account and then you click purchases and reviews. That leads you here where you have all your past purchases, and here you can download again. I'm going to click view downloads and I get the opportunity to download the files once more. So let's go into my downloads on my computer and see what are the files that I provide you with. Usually there are 3 files. First one is a presentation file. This is a file where you're going to have lots of information on the pattern, supplies, types of fabric recommended, fabric yardage, all things measurements are going to be in this file. I also give you the sewing steps that you have to follow in the synthetic fashion. And then of course you have the link to watch the tutorial on YouTube. If you notice that there is a piece in the pattern that seems to be missing, maybe you want to look at the presentation file before writing me in case it's there. For instance, for the Antoinette shirt, I sometimes get the question of where the ruffle strips parts are for the collar, and these parts are given in the presentation file. Alright, so let's go back to my downloads and have a look at the other files that I provide you with. You have here the pattern coming as an A0 format. This is a really big sheet of paper, I can show you. So this is my cutting mat, and this is an A1 format, which means that the A0 format is twice as big as that, which means that you're going to have to go to a print shop, whether it's a physical one or an online one, and you have to print there. I know in France that there is this website called Patterns for You, which is quite popular. There are probably many more that I don't know. If you have good addresses, maybe you can write them in the comment section and then tell us about your experience. Usually the cost for an A0 sheet is going to be about 3-4 euros, shipping not included. Why even go through the hassle of printing A0, especially if it's an online service where you're going to have to pay for printing and then pay for delivery and then maybe wait for a week? Well, it is because the other printing format that I provide you with is A4 and letter. And this is the size of the paper, and this is the way the file looks. So you have the pattern divided onto many pages. I want you to notice something here, which is that on the pattern on each page, you have a letter and a number in gray here, which is really important for what happens next. Let's open the A4 format with preview. I would like you to notice here the fact that there is a reference measurement or verification box, as I call it sometimes, which is going to be used to check if you have the right scale. If the scale is off, this is actually one of the main problems that I get, and it's really important to solve it. People will print the pattern and they're going to check the box, and it's not going to be a 5 on 5 centimeter box, and you have to solve this before being able to sew, otherwise all the measurements are going to be off. So the scale being off is the first problem that occurs with some PDF readers. Second problem here is that this file actually has layers, which means that you can hide the sizes that you're not interested in. And the reason why I picked this particular pens to show you this is because there is one spot that can be very confusing if you do not hide the layers. And here I don't see anywhere where I can hide, check, uncheck the layers. Now the solution for this is for you to download Acrobat Reader. So I'm gonna download it right now to show you how it goes. So I go on the website, I'm gonna just push download. Apparently they can identify right away if you have a Mac or a PC. I'm gonna open it, and I set it as my PDF reader by default. So now whenever I'm going to double click on a file, it's directly going to open Acrobat Reader. Okay, so let's open the same file, the A4 letter file of the Doretta pens. I'm going to do it a bit smaller. Now I'm going to bring your attention to the side here, where you're going to be seeing this little icon, which is for layers. I'm going to click on it, and let's go to this problematic area. I'm going to uncheck the boxes. Et voila. Isn't it kind of nicer? Now, it could be that there still are some problems. Maybe the scale is still off in spite of all your efforts and all the different tools that I'm recommending. If it's the case, write me and let's see what we can do. Okay, now it's time to talk about how to print our files. To show you the steps, I'm going to be opening another file of mine, which is a project that I'm working on at the moment. If I go to preview, because maybe you still want to use preview or your PDF reader by default, I'm going to go into print. It automatically put me on scale to fit. We don't want to fit anything, we want to just respect the measurements. So I'm going to go on scale, and by default the scale is set on 103%. We don't want that, we want 100%. I want you to look at the preview, and you're going to be able to see that the printing lines are contained within a rectangle. We're going to be printing now, and we're going to be printing only the first page of the pattern, because it's going to allow me to first check if this verification box has the right dimension, scaling is correct. Before printing all the pages of my pattern, you're going to select your range, and you're going to do from first page to first page. That's it. Now, if I am here on Acrobat Reader, I'm going to go into File, and I'm going to do Print. You can also do Command P. I'm going to be not printing in color, don't want that. Now, we want to talk about scale. So you want to have a look here. You could do actual size, since it's going to respect the size in which I made the file. You could also go to Custom Scale and type 100%. I want to print in draft mode. It's going to save ink. I'm going to do page 1 to page 1 as well. The first page of the pattern, and I'm going to measure to see if the scale is correct. Alright?
It's perfect.
Okay. Since it's fine, I'm going to print the rest of the pattern.
There are how many pages? 15 pages. I'm going to be printing from page 2 till page 15. Okay, let's print.
And now I am going to be talking about the fifth part. Is it the fifth? Doesn't matter. It's going to be about assembling the pattern. First of all, you want to cut off the margins, or some margins. Second, you want to stick the pages together. And third, you want to cut your size, okay? You don't want to cut your size first and then stick the pages together. This is going to be a mess. You're not going to be able to reconstitute the puzzle, which this pattern is now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, as I said, is to cut off some margins. What I call margins is the space on the piece of paper which is not contained within the rectangle that I drew on Illustrator. You could be cutting all the margins, but it's going to be a waste of time. You want to be cutting the margins on which you've got a line going on another page. I don't think this was English. To do so, you can use scissors, but I'm going to be using my cutting mat, my ruler, and my cutter because it's going to be more efficient. Actually, there is another method. What you can do as well, you can take your scissors and you're gonna cut the corners. So in theory, you'd be cutting all 4 corners of each page. And then you'd be able to match the corners to match the pages together. See? Corners are matching here as well. So now that we have cut off our margins, the next step is to stick the pages together. The question is now, in which order do I stick the pages together? And that's where these little annotations here in the background of the pattern pages is going to come in handy. As you can see, we've got a letter and a number on each page. The letters will indicate you the order of the lines. So the first line is always going to be A, the second always B, C, and D, and so on. And then you have numbers, and the numbers indicate the order of the columns. So it's going to go line A, B, C, and then column 1, 2, 3. So to begin with, I'm going to stick my first line together. We're going to start with page A1, which we're going to stick to page A2. And the last one, I don't need to stick because it doesn't share lines with another page. And now I'm going to take care of my second line, which is the B's. And do the same thing. All the pages are stuck together. This is what I am getting. You can see the sleeve here, for instance. We have now assembled all the pages of the pattern. We've stuck them together. And the thing that we should be doing now is to cut our size. Okay, if you have several sizes in the pattern that's before you. I want to stop right here to explain something. I hope it's not going to be too confusing because I had a hard time putting it into words in English. I want to give you some tips on how to pick your size. So I often get a question like this. This is a message from a customer and she's asking about size 10. Problem is, how am I supposed to know what a size 10 is just like that? I don't even know where this person comes from. You know, some people will ask about size 10. Another person is going to ask about size 42, XS, Italian 36, 26. There are many sizes in this world, size, systems, scales, and I don't know all of them. And I don't think it's important. What I just said now is that there are many size systems with different names in the world. Now, even worse, even if they're called the same, even if you're talking about an S and an S and an S from different brands, they might fit differently. So when you make a pattern, whether you're me or a big company like Nike, H&M, whatever you name it, you're going to have to make a sewing pattern first before making your garment, right? And in order to be able to make a sewing pattern, you're going to have to base it on measurements. These measurements, they are represented often by brands or by sewing pattern brands in a measurement chart, where you're going to have details about bust girth, waist girth, hips, and sometimes many more types of measurements to help you find your size. In order to pick the right measurements, brands can rely on the standards of the industries. Standards, they exist, but it's all relative to what is normal within a certain population or at a certain time. Okay, so if you don't rely on standards, you can also define what for you a certain size means. For instance, maybe if you are a brand that does sportswear, you're going to consider that size S is going to be just like every Every measurements are going to be the same as the standard sizes in your region, but maybe the shoulders are going to be bigger. Maybe the thighs are going to be a bit bigger. This is going to be your size small. Okay, so what does this mean about this size 10 here? The names don't interest me. I'm never going to know all the names of size systems in the whole world and all the measurements that are into them. And it depends from brand to brand. You know, this is not the most efficient and smartest way to go about picking your size. What's the best thing to do? You're going to take a measuring tape and you're going to measure yourself. Bust, under bust, waist, and hips. Under bust is not that important, but it's good to know it. And then you're going to know these measurements by heart. Now, with your measurements in mind, whenever you're going to go and buy a pattern, you're going to check out their measurement table. Sometimes it's among the pictures it's given. Sometimes you have to click on the link. For me, I give you a link, and sometimes I give you the measurements in a chart as well among the pictures. It really depends, but it's there. I used to say measurement table as Burda because Burda is or was the leader in sewing patterns in Europe. So they are a reference to me. So you're going to go and find the measurement table linked to whatever pattern that you're buying. And in this table, you're going to find your size for each of these items that I mentioned. Maybe you can take away under bust. It's kind of rarely necessary. So for the bust, for instance, my measurements are 80 centimeters at the moment. That means in the table that I'm going to be an XS. My waist is 62. That means I'm going to be an XS, and my ass is 92. One size above for my butt. This is what you can kind of see here. And this is a pattern on which I get lots of messages from people who are curvy or women thinking that maybe we're in the same case. And this pattern, by the way, is okay if your butt is one size above your waist, but not 2 or 3. The problem is that even with the fly open, the opening of the pants are not going to be big enough to pass through your hips. If you want your pants to suit you well, to be like tight at the waist and tight at the bust, and you have 2 or 3 sizes difference between your waist and your hips, you're going to have a very big opening from your fly or buttons, whatever closure system that you can think of. This opening must be big, therefore the fly is going to be super long. That's why sometimes for these types of pants that cater to curvier women, the zipper is going to be on the side here. So you can really open it down to the spot where your ass is the biggest. You're going to have a massive opening to be able to put your pants on. It's good to go and check out the measurement chart also to know if the brand supports your size. Maybe you go a bit too fast and you're like, yeah, they're probably going to have my size because it's a regular size, but it's not necessarily a regular size everywhere in the world, okay? Alright, I don't want to bother you with cultural relativity further. Okay, last question about sizes. What happens if you're in between different sizes? For certain garments, it's not going to be a big issue because the fabric maybe is stretchy. It's going to adapt to a certain extent to your personal measurements. But generally speaking, you're going to have to make some adjustments. So how do you do that? I have a video in which I explain this in a chapter, so I'm going to be linking this video down below. Okay, so once you have found your size, you can go ahead and cut your size in the paper. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my pattern pieces. And the next step will be to cut my fabric. I hope you learned some stuff with me in this video. I hope I answered your questions. Do not hesitate to ask your questions below. It might be that I forgot something. And also, if you care, if you want to take a moment, share your experience with us. Maybe you have your own advice. That would be really welcome. I wish you a good day.